Okay, thank you very much. Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Today is where I am anyway. It's Thursday, October 21st, 2021. This is the Primo V Become an Expert series, and our topic today is on branding, CSS, and HTML. Next week, we'll be talking more about display configuration. So these 2 weeks kind of go together in that under that umbrella. Before we do get going, I want to remind you, Lori is here helping me with the chat. And if you have a question to send in, please use the chat. She's going to be monitoring that. And please send it to all panelists. Any messages, please send to all panelists. That way, she'll be able to see them. I'll be able to see them, because this is also the transcript that I will grab to make our Q&A doc that I put the questions together from both sessions, create a Q&A doc, and we put it out on the dashboard for the series. So that's where you can find all that good stuff. And that just helps us to make sure we can both see everything, better chance of getting your questions answered. And always, if there's something we can't answer off, the top of our heads or with a quick search, we'll also, put it in that doc. So it's kind of another good reason to do that for us. Click over here, clicky click. I got too many monitors. Oh, I don't have too many monitors. I use them all. My name is Jenny Draeger. I'm a training services consultant with Ex Libris. And so today, topic is branding, CSS, and HTML. We don't have a lot of bullet points on our agenda, but there's a lot of information in here. So we're going to start talking about Primo Studio, so that this tool that's available to you. Then we're going to be talking about the customization package manager, and then the Primo-explore dev environment. And so these are different ways to manage your look and feel of Primo V. And let's get into this. What is Primo Studio? It's an interface that allows you to implement and test a set of customizations, including color palette of the Primo view, images and icons that you see in there. You can apply add-ons that others in the Primo community have developed. Change and test CSS, cascading style sheets. You can download the customization package after customizing it and then uploading it into your live environment after it's been customized. So this is a tool that we made available for you. It's pretty handy. There are 2 ways to get to Primo Studio. If you've already got a view created, you can access Primo Studio by going to this this link here, primo-studio.exlibrisgroup.com. You'll be prompted to enter the base URL of your Primo, your view name, and then if you have Primo V, you'll want to check this box and then go ahead and click into there, and that'll open up Primo Studio. However, also, if you're a consortium and using a central package, you check this box as well. But really, the way I access Primo Studio, since we have Alma, there is a link. You'll see I'm in the view configuration for a view, and on the Manage Customization Package tab here, there is this little link here, go to Primo Studio. So this is actually the one I use all the time, right from within Alma under Discovery, under configuring the view. Now, what you'll also see on this screen, so it doesn't matter how you get into Primo Studio, whether it's via the URL or this view, we're going into a separate interface that we use, that you use as a sandbox. So now you're going to have, what you see down here, you have template view customization package. This is the out of the box, vanilla, if you will, customization package that is what your Primo looks like when you first get it, when you're environment is first created and you're handed it. That is that out of the box look and feel, logos, colors, text, everything. If you have updated the customization package in your environment, maybe you've already done some work with colors, new logos have this new customization package, you'll see this activated, current view customization package. If you have not made any changes in your environment, or especially if you've got a new, maybe you have a test view that you're working with and it's vanilla and you're just going to start to utilize that, this box here will be grayed out. So you have not uploaded the customization package or something different than the out of the box settings, this box will be grayed out. But if you have done that, both boxes will be available. That being said, if you're ever working on a bunch of stuff or want to go back to that default out of the box customization package, this one is always available in your environment. It will not be going away. So if you've done some customizations, and want to do more, this is why you would come in here, download the current view, and then go to put this in Primo Studio, because you want to start from where you are now, not going back to the beginning of any of your configuration stuff. So this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to first go into Alma and download the package in the Manage Customization Package tab. Then we're going to go over to Primo Studio. We're going to upload the customization package there, make some additional changes, and download that updated package from Primo Studio. And then we'll go back into Alma under Discovery, Display Config, Configure Views, and upload that customization package. Not until then is when those changes happen in our live environment. So whatever you do in Primo Studio, it's not affecting what the public sees whatsoever in Primo V. So I'm going to get out of here. We're going to go back here to our friend Alma. I'm in my training environment that I've been using. Now, I made this view called Jenny Test, Jenny_test, and you could see it up here, my view name in my URL. And so what I did was I chose this gold color. So I just made a quick change. So I have a customization package that is not the default in this environment. And if I come in here to Discovery, Configure Views, here's my Jenny Test view. This is the default view, and I just want to show you real quick. If I go in here to Edit, and I go to the Manage Customization Package, this view is using just the standard out-of-the-box customization package, and you'll see the current view. You see how I can't even click on it. Nothing's available there. So you can't accidentally get the wrong customization package. No package loaded, it says right there. So if we go to my test view, this one, go to Edit, and go to Manage Customization Package. So this is the tab we're going to be on. And here's that current view customization package. So I'm going to go ahead, and here's my link to Primo Studio right there. So now here's another thing I did want to point out. Maybe you only uploaded a logo before. And so this is like a quick way to just throw a logo in there without having to get into Primo Studio or do a bunch of fancy stuff. Right there. Very handy. So I'm going to download my customization package. And I'm putting it just in a file here on my desktop for this session that I labeled. And you'll see the name, training_2_inst. That's my institution code in Alma. And then my view, Jenny_test.zip. And this is a zip file. And we want to leave it a zip file. We'll just download it. And I've got it saved out here. Right here, my Primo V CSS, and you can see there it is. So let's go into Primo Studio at this point. Now what this is going to do, it's opening up a new browser tab. So, and I'm using Chrome. This tab is not associated with our live environment. Our live environment's still over here. And here's Primo Studio. Now, what I'm looking at here is that default customization package. That is what is going to show in here when you open this up. This is where I am right now. We call this on the right the preview pane. And this is what is going to let us test our changes without affecting what's live. This is a live preview pane, so I can even do searches in it, so you can see, oh, what do the colors look like when that in those result, lists and all that. So this is a fully functioning view, tool here. Let's go back to the main. So at the bottom, you'll see a number of tabs here. At the very bottom, it says upload package. And so I'm going to choose package. I'm going to navigate to desktop. And here's my zip. Bring it over as a zip. And then click on upload package. So we've got this little message, the preview is running. We are now seeing, now what we're looking at is that customization package of what is reflected in that customization package. So we're gonna go through these menus over here. Our very first one here is theme. And so what are we looking at? We're looking at color changes. What's your primary color? What's your secondary color? Background color? Links, warning, you'll see. And these are hex codes, hexadecimal codes here. And if I want to change my code, there's a few ways I can do it. I have another code I want to use. I'm going to change it from garnet or from gold to garnet. And then I'm going to click on update theme. So there, I just made that change in the preview. I can always change it back. I can make any other changes. Now, there are different ways to add this code in. If I click on the color, I could use this little color picker tool, and I'm horrible at picking a decent color off of these tools. So I really appreciate when you can use, you see we could put RGB color codes in there, this HSL code, or hex codes. Any of them work, any of them can be put right in here. Like you see the way I pasted it up here. And then again, if I do a quick search, where else does this carry over? You can see these change to this garnet color. I'd never change the background from white because if I pick something, it is just kind of goofy, but I could choose a different warning color, negative color, notice color, whatever you want. There is a piece of doc. Let me open this up. This is going to get all up in my WebEx little button up here. There we go. There's a piece of documentation, and it's called Changing Views Colors for the Primo Studio for Primo V page. And let me give you this link. Let me send this to everyone. There we go. I'm sending you that link. This link is also in the, oh, well, that's the hex code. I don't think you want that. Hold on. Copy. So what's handy about, another thing about those hex codes, it's also helpful because if your institution has, those very specific color codes, it's very easy to keep things consistent. This secondary color, I saw someone just ask this, where does the secondary color display? I need to double check. I need to clarify this with our documentation team, because what I was noticing yesterday when I was testing, I'm going to confirm this one here. So this might be changing. I have to double check, but you can see here on this doc, it says, what are you changing with the primary color? What are you changing with the secondary color? I'm seeing these two kind of stay in sync. So I'm going to double check that. Here's that background color. That's a horrible color for that one. Under links, what will those, what text will or what color will these pieces of text be? So this is a very helpful little piece of doc, but I am going to confirm this secondary one with our doc team. Do that a little bit later today. You know what? I think I submitted it yesterday. I'll double check with them. Okay, so that's where we are there. I do like to show off that. Oh, let me go back to Primo Studio. So those are our colors, or that's the theme tab, if you will. Let's go down to the images tab. So the images tab allows us to replace this Primo logo up here, the favicon, which is this little icon up here that shows up in the browser tab. Now, if you add the favicon here, you're not going to see it in Primo Studio, and you'll see it once you go live or when you post this to your live environment. And if I look at some of the other libraries that I've been highlighting during this series, you can see SUNY Buffalo and Northeastern University, they both updated their favicon. And so it is showing. It's just, I don't want you to think, oh, if I put this in right here, I'm going to see it in Primo Studio. You won't. The library icons, SVG, these are these little guys. These are SVG files, or yeah, these are little SVG icons that pop up all over the place. And the resource type icons, these are these resource type images that show up if there is not cover image art, if you will. So that's what those are. So here's something coming from Synthetix, and then again, those default icons. So let's go ahead. I'm going to change my logo file, So this is that out of the box one, the Ex Libris logo. And I'm going to choose a new one here. And I'm going to say, oh, look, I have a special logo for my music library. And you just need to navigate to that image. Now, I do want to point out, this is a PNG file. And it also, the naming convention, and you'll see this in the documentation, it does need to read _logo.png. So that is that's how this needs to be named. But I can go ahead and put that in place. I can click on upload images. And now our image is in place in Primo Studio. Now you will notice that it's kind of small. Now the maximum size for this logo that you can upload, and this is in the documentation, it's 300 pixels wide by 100 pixels tall. That's the maximum. But there's something wrong with this because there's some border padding on this, but we're going to fix that a little bit later. I'll show you where that is. So I'm not too worried about it right now, and it'll allow me to show you something else a little bit further down here. If I look at these library icons, oops, there we go. The library icons we're going to see on this next page, but if you had new ones that you wanted to upload, you would upload them here on this images tab. Okay, these are indeed SVG files. I want to mention one other thing. I saw some conflicting information in the doc, and I've already submitted it to clear it up that this logo could be either a PNG or an SVG, but you're safer with it being a PNG. So best practice, have it be a PNG, and I've already submitted it to clear it up in the doc. Let's go to the icons tab, because these are those SVG images that we see. And these are the ones that are in place. And here are the icons that are all loaded. So could you change these and use a new one? Absolutely. Could you load new ones and add them in here? Absolutely. No problem whatsoever. So here's our name, and then here's the icon that will show up. Just choosing a new one here will update those icons in your environment. I'm just making sure I'm hitting all my. If you want customized SVG, let me say that wrong. Icon in the images tab, the new icon would appear next to its Primo ID, but you wouldn't be able to edit it back on the images tab. You'd need to come here to the icons tab to see what that Primo ID is, so that you could use them for identification. The next tab, as we move down here, these are add-ons. And so the add-ons tab allows you to add features that are developed and maintained by the Primo community. If you are using cloud apps at all in your in Alma, this is kind of similar to that, where some of these are written by, outside this Yenwo, I don't know who they are. Some of them are coming from customers. Some of them are coming from our employees as well. The information for each one is loaded here into GitHub. Like if we look at this one, BU did, if I click on view in GitHub, we're going to see the information. We're going to have a README. We're going to see directions on how to upload it in your environment. And so that is made available to you. Now, sometimes just clicking add is enough to deploy this in your environment, but sometimes you need a little bit of information. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this, NYU put out this Primo-explore search bar submenu. So what this is going to do is this is going to make a submenu down here, right here on this bar, that'll be available to my users in Primo. And so with this one, if I click add, I'm going to need some information. So this is going to be the label that shows up, library hours. I can put in a description. My action is I'm going to go to a specific URL. So maybe I've set up a URL with the library hours. And so I want people to go there to look at it. Icon set is action. So it'll be that icon that shows. The icon name, grabbing, instead of trying to type it, I'm just going to copy and paste. I've got CSS classes. What's that one going to be? Oops, I don't want extra spaces in what I'm grabbing here. And then show XS, that one is true. So to deploy this add-on, I did need a little bit of information in here. And if I click submit, again, this is showing only in Primo Studio. Here's my little search bar with library hours. I guess I should have put something in the description because you see how it's showing up. Translate item, blah, blah, blah. So if I was really doing this, I'd want to improve that a little bit. I could have added more items here as well. If you ever have an add-on in your environment and you're testing it out and you say, oh, I really don't like that, just a very quick remove gets rid of it. So it's a pretty easy test, not a full-on commitment. So I was looking, and yesterday when I counted these, there were 17 add-ons currently available here. Oh, that alt metrics, that's a nice badge to put in. I like that. I like seeing that in customer websites. Oh, here's A to Z databases, since that isn't, we talked about that, how we don't do A to Z anymore. Here's a little add-on if you want to do that. I think some people might use, and I don't know if this, some people might go to, someone asked, what if you don't have LibGuides? Well, you could try this one. You could try this option. So there we go. So that is the add-ons tab. Oh. Okay, so we're going to go now to editor. Now this is getting a little bit deeper in here. So the editor allows us to make changes to the various files in the customization package. When we have these files up here in the CSS folder. There's certain files, and if I click on this, we're going to see custom one CSS. It's read only. You cannot change that directly right in here. Because it reflects all of the CSS definitions that are currently applied in this session. Putting something in the window. So if I put something in this window, Primo Studio, what it does is it wraps any changes you make here into the custom one CSS file. So it does that for you. So I'm going to want to edit the Studio Editor CSS file and add any CSS changes here, then apply them to the custom CSS. There is another piece of documentation that I am going to share with you. Come on, open up. And this is also, come on, crazy mouse click, there we go. This is a best practices page, and I'm going to put this in the chat, and it is also, in the PowerPoint, so this isn't a state secret link here or anything. But in this document, there's specifically a section on CSS components and customizations. Right here. And it's talking about what you're changing with each section, with examples of cascading style sheets. So you can literally copy it from here, paste it back into that editor. And click apply changes. Now what we're going to do something a little different. Remember, I didn't like this padding up here. My logo could look a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is in my browser, so whatever browser you're using, I'm using Chrome. So I'm going to click on inspect. So I'm inspecting this image. And when you look at it, oh, I don't want to do that. Let's try this again. If I go into here and I get to the right spot, minimize that. Let's try this again. We're going to see that padding in here. Now, yesterday this was working. Where is it now? PRM logo image, sizing border box. The padding in here is what is messing this up, and now not seeing what I want to see. Let me get out of here. I took this out of here yesterday, but I put this back. Okay, something is different from yesterday. When I was looking at this yesterday, I had you could see there was border padding, and what I did was I just copied it. And what I did was then I came back in here and I pasted it in here, but I just changed the border sizing to be 0, no more padding. And that then took this away. I don't know why I'm not seeing this now, because the date is a little bit different here. So I apologize for that. Now that's really confusing me. So that's, and then once you do that, you apply the changes. Again, that CSS gets wrapped up into this folder, and then that took away this border padding in here. Oh, someone's saying, thank you. Raymond has given me some tips here. Thank you. Hold on. Let's try this again, because this is really one of my best tricks. But CSS is not my love language. Let's put it that way. If I click on filter, I don't know where filter is. Under styles. There we go. Where's styles?
It's right below where your cursor is.
Thank you. Filter. I'm in filter. Lori, what am I missing here?
Raymond's tip was to type padding into that filter box.
Oh, there we go. Border 0. Oh, it's no. Is it this one? Product logo. Is it this one right here? This one. Thank you. So if I click that, oh, there we go. And so what we want to end up doing is this padding. Like what I had to do was I copied this. I copied this into my, see, this isn't in the same spot. I copied this into my, over here. I don't know if this will work over here. Let's try this. I changes. Will that do it? No, I needed a little bit more information. I think I needed the whole logo information. Well, this is making me sad. Yeah, you need a little bit more information in there, not just that one line. But that'll, if you have this issue, that's how you do it. I'm sorry. I know I want to pay attention to time here. Get this out. Now I want to fix it, but I'm not going to, because that'll just throw me. Okay. Let's go to our next section here. Let me try this. Copy. There we go. See that padding now is 0. I'm taking this instead of from the inspect, I'm just taking it from my documentation. So by correcting that padding right here, that's going to correct it here, and it looks lovely. Okay. Let's see, make sure I've got all that. I told you about the best practices documentation. HTML. Oh, someone just asked, can you change the HTML file? Let me show you another trick in here. So if I go to HTML and homepage, I want you to notice, here's a little typo in here, right? So it's in this HTML file on the homepage. And so the answer is yes. I can come right in here. So you want to change this wording, you want to correct a typo, TE, favorites. There we go. It's like you were a plant in my class here. There we go. So favorites list. So yes, you can come right in here and address that immediately and make those changes. Okay, and if I go back to my main folder, there is also my little JavaScript folder. Where you could get into the images and such there. Okay, I'm moving down here next to the email tab. This is where you can edit the default email template and see the changes in the preview pane here. Once you've made updates to this template, you can approve the template and then download it here. And so Primo Studio, you would just use this separately to update the template, download it. And then back here in Alma, this is where you would come back here into the view config and upload that template here. So that's where that would happen. The next tab down here is download. So we have made a number of changes while we were in here. We changed the color, we changed the logo, we changed some of this HTML, but it still hasn't affected my live environment. My live environment still has my typo, still has the gold, all that information, nothing different, same logo. So we come back here to Primo Studio and we're going to download our current customization package. Now, when you download this, it kind of has a generic name. And so like I could do 2021, 1021, Primo, customization. Have some sort of version control in place. And I do want it to be a zip, so that's just fine. So when you do this, you might want to rename that other file. Call it old, call it, put an old date on here, whatever you want to do, knowing what the current one is. And then what we would do then is come back here into Alma. And here's where we can upload that customization package. Going to navigate to it. Here's my one I just did today, just downloaded. Open. Upload. And now it's successfully uploaded, but to deploy it, you actually have to hit this save button. So if I click save, then you're going to see the customization package deployed successfully, logo deployed successfully, email template deployed successfully. So that save button is key. So I'm going to close Primo Studio. I'm going to close that discovery. I'm going to close these documentation. Now, if I go into my link for my Jenny test, what are you going to see? Hello. Now this is, oh, so look, it did do that. Sometimes I mentioned how Primo can be kind of cachy. So sometimes you might just want to clear the cache. And I've been in here a lot. So it just needs to clear that. Let me go into Firefox. And then I'll clear the cache when we get done. There we go. So I just need to clear it over there in Chrome. That's a good example of showing you that though, and when it might be time to clear your cache. So here's our correction. Here's our new logo, appropriately sized, our new color. Okay, so now I want to talk about the customization package manager. Let's get out of here. Go into here. Oh, these were just a link to some of the CSS components that are on that link I sent you. So the customization package manager, what does that allow you to do? Allows you to brand your Primo user interface, allows you to create, manage CSS, HTML, JavaScript, and image files in Primo. You can also use this to create a central package. So if you're part of a consortium and you want kind of a baseline where everyone's going to start from or just push out to their institutions, that's where you can, this is also helpful for that. If no customization packages are loaded, the system will use only those out-of-the-box configurations. Now, we've already seen how to download and upload the package. So let's go take a look at the files in that package itself. So I'm going to come back here in my file. I'm going to, here's my newest one. So I've been using 7-zip with very good luck. So use whatever zip utility you like. So I'm going to just do an extract here. Now I didn't ask for that one. I asked for this one, didn't I? Well, I did this one. That is. So here I can see my CSS, my HTML, my image, my JavaScript. So all of these are, oh, here we go. I'm getting a confirmed file replace. I'm just going to cancel that out on this other page. So if you happen to be working on a Mac, you will need to use a zipping utility, as the native compression process that Mac uses won't work with the files in Alma or in Primo Studio and loading it back in. So just be aware of that. So if you have the skill set and ability to edit these you have the knowledge to edit these directly, you can absolutely do that instead of using Primo Studio. The downside is you don't get to see your changes live like you do in Primo Studio. Here's also another caveat, is that editing, if you choose to edit these outside Primo Studio and then try to load them into Primo Studio and do additional work, additional configs and changes, there you can run into errors because Primo Studio writes its CSS in a specific way, and if the custom work does not match, then Primo Studio can't reconcile the changes. So it allows you more flexibility, but if you try to put the two together, this customization plus Primo Studio, you can run into issues. Something to be aware of. Let's get out of here. So the last topic is this Primo-explore dev environment. I cannot demonstrate this for you live as I cannot be an admin on my own computer. It's a security setting that we have at Ex Libris because we can access live customer environments. So this is something that we cannot do. But I can give you resources to get started with it. Now, if I come in here, I'm going to come to this first link. This is another link out to get that. It's my little shortcut copy. So I'm going to put this link in the document or in the chat as well if you're really chomping at the bit to take a look at this. In this session, we started with Primo Studio, which is the easiest way to edit the interface. Then we, touched on how to edit the files directly. And if you really want to get busy, we're going to talk about you can edit the user interface using this Primo-explore development environment. I'm not a programmer. I mentioned, CSS and HTML, they're not my love language. So, but this is where you come in to take a look at this. Here's the README talking about how to utilize this tool, what changes you can make, how to install it, etc. Now, so if you have the expertise to do this kind of work at your library, you might want to consider this option. One thing to note, you're going to need to have admin privileges on the computer on which you're running this program. So something to be aware of. Now, there are a couple of other good tools in here. And I noticed, I have to double check, this link wasn't working yesterday. The Orbis Cascade Alliance wrote a document about getting started with Primo-explore dev environment. And I'm going to reach out to them today. Oh, I'm sorry. I saw a comment come in. Can I repeat what I said about the package manner and Studio having conflicts? Okay. This is one of those things, just because you can doesn't mean you should. You do have the power to edit these files directly. And then I could zip them up and I could try to load them. I could load them into Primo Studio because I want to make additional changes in Primo Studio. Sometimes you can run into issues there because the way that Primo Studio wraps up the CSS is unique. You know how with programming you can have some differences in how people do it. So the issue comes in is if you do some direct editing, try to take it over to Primo Studio, and then try to make additional changes in there. There could just be a conflict. Primo Studio may not be able to resolve. It's more into the CSS files. So just something to be aware of. And then, like I said, this is the one that offers the most, if you are a developer, want to get in and see your changes live in this development environment, you do have that availability. I also want to point you to about this. I want to here. There is also this link from Igloo 2016 about these development resources. So I have to, like I said, I have to double check this link. This wasn't working. See if they moved it or if they took it down. And those are the tools I wanted to share with you. So these are some of those links I shared with you, the branding your view, the Primo Studio for Primo V, the best practices. You're not on Primo V yet, the Go V links. Lori, are there any particular questions we need to address?
There was one request for you to again demonstrate how to get to Primo Studio if you're not using the link directly from Alma.
Oh, do you have the, I never used that one. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie. Because I just love that link inside. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so it's primo-studio.xlibris.com. And then you're gonna need to know your Primo URL and your Primo view. So now this is a different one. So this is already, so am I going to use Primo V? Am I going to use a central package? Now this is not correct for my environment. I'd have to go, I'd have to change these because mine is like Jenny test. I'd have to get my URL back here. That's a different server. So this is your link if you are so inclined to use it. I'll just put it in the chat, and I think I did send it to everyone. The alternative is to just go right here. This just pushes you through, and it takes all those settings with you, so you don't have to fill in the URL. You don't have to fill in the view name. Any other burning questions? And I'm sure, something I figured out was it's really easy to find those hex codes. You might know this. And I went to Florida State for my undergrad. That's why I chose those colors. And then I just went here and there's like a website that has team color codes. That was pretty easy to find. Go through all these different. So I thought that was a handy website. I'm trying to get this out of the way. I see a question. We're moving to Primo V. Why do you need to indicate that it's a V package versus back office? What are the differences? It's a good question. So Primo V, because Primo, remember Primo predates Primo V by a lot of years, and it was a completely separate package. So Primo was around, Primo predates Alma, and it was a whole separate tool. So when you move to Primo V, everything, you don't have the Primo back office anymore. Everything is run through here. Primo V is actually built on top of Alma. They're linked together. So when you go to Primo V, you will no longer have the Primo back office. You'll manage everything here under between this menu and this menu. So it's very important to understand where you're coming from. Another question just came in. If Primo Studio doesn't open for a view, is there a way to figure out how to add it so it can be opened and edited using Primo Studio? So if you, and I could get to these things, you know, some of these things are duplicated here. So if I come in here, like here's a whole different view. And I come in here to edit. And I go to manage customization package and I click on this. Are you saying, you know, if you come from here and it doesn't work, is that the issue? Open a case with support, because I don't know why that wouldn't work, because I don't know what kind of error you're getting, and it works with other views. That's odd. Another thing to test. This is just kind of me. You could always duplicate the view and try it. That should work though. I've never had an error there, but it definitely should work. Is there a okay, oh, here's another question. Is there a reason you cannot view the full record within Primo Studio? I did that yesterday. I thought I did that, but let's give this another try. Primo Studio. I'm just gonna stick with this out of the box one. I'm not worried about getting into this. I want to make sure I have a book. Here's my book. I was noticing when I was testing this out, sometimes it was, now I got this crazy giant mouse. I was able to see some things. Okay, so this worked. This was a book review. So this is showing the full record. This would be coming from the local catalog. Article, here's another article. So that would be coming from CDI. I wonder if just the local catalog, Primo Studio can't do that in the things for the local catalog. Did you see how I can't see all of this either? Let's try this. Lori, do you know anything about that? Is this just kind of the way what Primo Studio is and how that works?
I don't know anything about this.
We'll ask. I'm guessing for whatever reason it just can't resolve to the local collection stuff. You know, it is this other browser, so it might. I bet that's why, because it's not like inside of Alma. It's just this browser tool. That's kind of my theory. We'll double check that though. Because you see, it's kind of this. It's just carried over here, but it's not touching the live environment. Anything else for me? There's a lot of tools in the documentation, plus I'm sure a lot of you have more like programming type experience than I do. So you can get a lot fancier with your customizations. And if you're, you know, if you're ever stuck on something and see what someone else has done, if you reached out to them, I'm sure they'd share the information with you. Let's see what portals are at SUNY Buffalo. So if there's things you like, you know, they've got the same logos here. They've done some, oh, look, they've got new images here. They've got those. Those are a little different. You can also move these whole things to the right. They've got a little chat in here. Just trying to look at the things that we did. Those are the same. They've got this whole header up here different. Here's their search profile slots over here. They're part of a network with a network zone. Let's take one more quick peek at what Northeastern did. What have they got? People don't want these lists too long. I can appreciate that. So they've got the, is that a little, no, that's the same. Just trying to look at their logos and such. No, those are the standard ones. Looks good though. They've done a lot of color customization. Branded their Primo Scholar One search. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for your time. It is the top of the hour. I'm going to grab this chat so I can get this question and answer doc. I'll be working on that this afternoon, and we'll get this all uploaded to the dashboard for the series. Thank you so much for your time today. Sorry about that bumbling with my little HTML fun, but I appreciate your help and we got it figured out. Have a great day, everyone. We'll talk to you next week.